purpose of this is to help you gain all 13 marks available for question 4 in your GCSE journalism exam. Question 4 is on the press release, and you are expected to put a positive spin on a series of notes that you are given. Your question will look like this. You will be advised to spend 14 minutes on the question, and I recommend you stick to SAY's guidelines. You are told that you are the PR officer for someone or something. In this case, it's for a charity. In previous years, it has been on the behalf of celebrities or local councils, and your job is to release a statement. A press release is a statement for the press so that journalists have the facts and figures and truth before they start to write their stories. It is what they base their stories on. So if you are someone's PR officer, you will want to put a positive spin on something. If you look in this case, it's for the charity Make a Difference. It has enlisted the support of Rugby League International Philip Corrigan. Mr. Corrigan has agreed to act as an ambassador for the charity and is arranging a charity match between professional and amateur players to raise much needed funds for the charity. Your job as journalist is to write the 120-word press release which will promote the pro-amateur rugby match and raise awareness of the charity's work. So in this, you will have to make some use of your Caesar techniques. And if you don't remember all of your Caesar techniques, they can be found under Showbie, under the class code GERZT, GERZT, which isn't written very clearly there. And you can go in and relearn those rhetorical techniques, those persuasive devices that you should use in the press release. They give you a series of points here. You're expected to evaluate and prioritise. They don't expect you to use all of these notes. By evaluating, they'll hope that you will read through these notes and pick the most important bits. And you know that as a journalist, you have to concentrate on the 5 W's and the 1 H. So you will evaluate what out of this information is most important and prioritise it. In what order should it be? So you should be going through these notes and deciding what needs to be used, what can be got away with, and in what order should you include it. I would recommend that you include a quotation. Feel free to edit the quotation and make it shorter. You see here from your what I have to do PowerPoint, which is under Unit 1 and Showbie as well, there are some further guidance. You're told to use their bullet points as prompts, but you will be expected to reword this. Don't feel like you must follow the information order that you're given here. A stronger candidate will know how to prioritise it. Start your work with a topic sentence, so the most important information will be at the start, and try and have your 5 W's, your who, what, where, when and why, and your how as close to the top as possible. I would include a headline here, and I would try and have it in capital letters and keep it catchy. I would advise you keep your sentence variety mixed, but your paragraphs very short. Your tone should be formal, but keep your writing witty and engaging nonetheless. While vocabulary should be interesting, keep it concise and stay on point. Bear in mind, your job here is to deliver facts to journalists even. They will make a story out of it. Here from the January 2015 paper, we have a piece of exemplar material. I would recommend you read through this very, very closely. You can see here at the top, this candidate has written for immediate release with a semicolon in capitals. That shows your journalists that they're allowed to use information from this story immediately. Alternative ways for you to do so, and you can feel free to open it any of the 3 ways, would be to put hold release until at the top, with a semicolon, what we have there for immediate release. Or you can choose to go that little bit more sophisticated and say that this information is strictly embargoed until January the 7th at 7 o'clock. Of course, I made the date and the time up. That would be so a journalist would know that they can't publish this story before this date. You can see here that the candidate has used very, very short paragraphs, but the style is quite witty. Here, we learn immediate facts, what is happening, who is involved. It gives some background information here. The when is down here, included with a quotation. At the bottom, you see this, it's very important. 3 little hashtags. That's an American convention of press releases. Just shows that you really know the format. Indeed, the Examiner has commented on it down here. And you are expected to sign off as if the PR company was yours. You can see here, for further details, contact mmallon@gmail.com. And then there's a note to editor at the bottom. Tickets for the match can be found on the Make-A-Wish website. You are expected to finish it with ends so that the journalists in question know that that's the end of the press release. They also will be able to tell that from these 3 hashtags, which is why that convention is used. This shows that you're a professional company and your contact details are there and everything is here. You can see here that the Examiner has put in the comment, the required tone of voice. So the candidate here has used appropriate tone and register. That there are clear markers between content and that there is an assured tone of voice. It's a very confident style of writing. Indeed, they have said here, assured grasp of the required voice and tone, clear understanding of target audience. For further exemplar material in the press release, you will find it under our Showbie account. Again, it's GERZT in order for you to find that information. Just to keep you right in terms of the requirements, here's the mark scheme for that question from the January 2015 exam. You only have 14 minutes to evaluate the material, prioritise what you're going to do, plan your response, execute your response, and of course, read over your work. Obviously, I'm expecting you all to aim for mark band 3, which is where you really want to be if you're going to gain those 14 marks. In order to get those 14 marks, you will have had written in an appropriate style and format for the press release, so that you will have used my recommended layout with the appropriate opening at the top and the sign off at the end, your hashtags, your ends, your short paragraphs and your witty style. The press release will demonstrate what they call an assured grasp of the required voice and tone, so that you sound as if you are positively promoting your client. Clear evidence of the target audience for this statement, that the target audience has been a key consideration in the reformulating of the information clearly and coherently. They might give you points that are long-winded or that are awkwardly structured. The expectation is on you that you will structure it appropriately. And journalists will want this to be written in a style that is accessible, concise, brief, with a positive spin on behalf of your client. You will have to make it obvious that you are trying to emphasise your client's desire to promote the match, so those clear markers have to be there. And of course, in all cases, ladies, accurate spelling, punctuation and grammar with fluent expression that creates a succinct, commanding and persuasive statement within the word limit. Of course, they only give you 1 page for this, so use the page. You can't really go over that word limit. I would remind you, in order to try and get those full 14 or 13 marks, don't forget your colon, your semicolon, your dash, your brackets and your ellipsis.